What was that first meeting like, and what did you say?
Oh, yeah. So it was great. So we convened 25 top leaders. As you could imagine, they hadn't had anybody confirmed in the position for 3 years. There was a lot of curiosity. They had been Google searching me and LinkedIn stalking me for 6 or 8 months. So I think they were anxious to see me. So when I finally met with them, I introduced myself and told them this is who I am and this is what I think we're going to do together. These are the priorities. They went around the room, introduced themselves, but when you're getting 25 names for the first time, it's hard, and they're giving you the titles in the position. It's very hard. Then I met afterwards with them one-on-one. It took me a couple of weeks to better learn their jobs, what they needed from the leader, how they worked with others. So it's sort of like the first date. You just got to start, you just got to start and get in and get going. And, the interesting thing about it is, veterans benefits, the administration of benefits to veterans doesn't stop while you learn stuff. Every day, things are happening. Every day, people are filing applications, wanting some response. So you really had to understand things were going to happen very, very fast.
Mm-hmm. So how did you determine what your priorities were going to be and what, I guess, needed to be fixed or focused on first?
Sure. Well, I knew that when they called me to interview for the commission, I actually thought hard about, well, when I go there, I just can't just say, well, I'll make it up when I get the job. They're going to say, why should you give me this job? I thought hard about what it is I would focus on. So I really established at that point in my own mind 3 things I would focus on. So first is you really got to get benefits to veterans quick, fast, in a hurry. Okay. So I would talk about it as getting veterans the benefits they've earned in a manner that honors their service, right? It should be kind of this wow experience all the time. You call, you talk, whatever. It wasn't a speed thing. It wasn't a quality thing. It was all of those things that people were trying hard to get you benefits, right? So that became eventually top customer service because that was often hard to describe. I then noticed that one of the things I knew from my consulting period of time is when you're dealing with the kind of money, Mike, you went through, billions of dollars and whatever, everybody expects that money to be treated fairly and accurately, and improper payments is something that government struggles with. So I really wanted to focus on what I call fiscal stewardship. Guys, this is a serious amount of money. It has to be well taken care of. And too often in government, people will say, yeah, we can't account for $500 million, but on $100 billion, that's not much money. That's like less than 1%. And everybody goes high five because so much of government is worse, right? They lose 2% or 4%. You go, what? $500 million is real money. We've got to pay attention to that. So I really wanted the financial focus. And finally, the last thing was something that really bothered me a lot was talking about collaboration and working well with others, not just your own team, but the folks who are stakeholders for veterans. For example, the classic examples are the veteran service organizations, American Legion and the like. But there's so many people who want to help veterans. As you realize, Mike, nonprofits, others, this ecosystem. And it's so much better if we could all figure out how to work together versus fighting, right? People are talking fighting the VA and you're like, wait a minute, what's wrong with that? Let's figure out. So I really talked about collaboration. So those are the 3 things I would talk about even before, talked about them in the interview, continued through my confirmation and continued the entire time I was there, that's what, and everything I could do, everything I did, always I could trace back to one of those 3 things. If you're measuring performance, you're trying to get better benefits. You're hunting down dollars and cents, you're watching fiscal stewardship. You're meeting with somebody, you should be collaborating on a veterans issue. If you're not doing any of those 3 things, then the activity was ill-placed. So that's really kind of how I did it. And I just stuck at it.